Hello, I am Liselle Sambury. I'm a traditionally published author, and welcome to this vlog. Camp Nano is in full swing. April Camp Nano is in full swing, and I'm working on doing the first draft of Bear Hunt, which is my 2024 YA horror. It's going to be coming out then, so I'm trying to get it drafted as early as possible. And so that's what I'm working on. I did some drafting in the morning. I actually went over what I was supposed to be doing. So I was only supposed to draft 2,000 words, and I went into the 3,000s because I got into my second POV, which is the one that's journal entries. And I just find that journal entries are really, I don't know, they're really fun to write, and it's really easy and comfortable to write those. And so I was kind of just good to just write all the entries. And it's a more compact story. So it's automatically faster paced because faster things are happening because it's just the timeline of the story. And so there's a lot of kind of action, creepy things going on. So it was fun to write. So I was kind of just I'll just finish the journal entries. But otherwise drafting is going pretty good. As with before, there are definitely things I'm noticing where I'm I'm gonna have to fix that in revisions. Mainly some pacing things, because I used to have a lot more murders in this book. So when I plotted this, which wasn't even that long ago, I had a lot more murders, but I realized that if you have a school and people are being murdered regularly, you probably wouldn't be putting on events. And there was a charity event that I wanted to put in the school that happened in the book, and then there's a dance that I wanted to put in, and I was none of those things would happen if people were repetitively being murdered at a school. It would have closed. And I was yeah, you know what? That's extremely legitimate. And so I cut those down, but what cutting those down did is I cut out a lot of my danger points that put in these high action sequences, and I haven't figured out what to replace them with yet. And so it's feeling slower than I want it to feel because I haven't been able to adequately replace those beats, and it shows. But again, that's something I'm gonna fix in revision. So overall, doing pretty good. In exciting news, I have booked the hotel and some activities for my writing research trip to Kingston. If you don't know, I got a grant from the Canada Arts Council to work on a new book, not contracted, not sold, anything, just a new book that I guess I'm codenaming Dark Academia book. And I'm going to set it at my alma mater, Queen's, in Kingston, Ontario. And so as part of that grant, I've got some funding to go there and do a little research trip. And so I'm planning to do that for a week. And I'm really excited about it. It's really, really nice to have that to look forward to. I kind of been feeling a little bit emo in the last little bit. Basically just having FOMO. I'm on social media and I'm seeing authors doing in-person launches and getting invited to in-person conferences and getting to sign their books for people in person and meet readers and travel different places and go to all sorts of different bookstores and have conferences and meet other authors and do in-person panels and stuff like that. And I've really had some FOMO about that because I don't really have anything like that coming up. I don't really know what I'm gonna be doing for my launch, but I don't know that it would be in person. I think Canada's a little bit different than that. I think we're still mostly doing virtual things as opposed to the US, which I think is doing a lot more in-person things. But even then, I don't live in a major city either. And so, yeah, I don't really have anything like that coming up or on the horizon. And so I was feeling a little bit sad about kind of not having that be something eminent in my future. And so getting this trip booked has really given me something to look forward to and to be really excited about. And it's really, it's my first kind of like formal research trip as an author. And I was really fortunate to get funding for that. And it's also kind of, a bit of a trip. My partner is going to come with me as well, and we're going to be bringing the dog and all of that. So, it's kind of a really nice sort of vacation in that way, even though I'm going to be working and like doing research and like taking pictures and stuff. But we've got like a lunch cruise booked. I booked a premium lunch cruise around the Thousand Islands, and so I can like take pictures there. I'm hoping maybe we can get out to Wolf Island, which is another kind of like adjacent island there. We have a haunted walk tour. I'm hoping the penitentiary tours will open up, but it's gonna be really fun for me to explore that city in a way I didn't when I was a student. I kind of just went places with my friends as a student. I didn't really like sightsee in Kingston, I guess because that was something more that like, I don't know, maybe you do when your like family comes to visit, but usually when my family came to school, they were like coming to pick me up to bring me home. And so we just kind of came and they picked me up and we went. We didn't usually linger in town. And so it's exciting to be able to think about getting to explore, different parts of that city/town. So yeah, I have that to look forward to, and that's kind of helping uplift me. But yeah, sometimes like that's the thing about an author in traditional publishing. It is very like have and have nots. You're not going to get invited to everything. You're not going to get to go to everything. And so I was feeling that a little bit more recently, and I was feeling kind of emo and sad about it, but booking that trip has really made me feel a lot better. So I have that, and I have that to look forward to, and that's going to be really exciting because I'll take my trip in June, and then in July the Blood Like Magic paperback will come out. In August the Blood Like Magic the Blood Like Fate, book will launch, and then there's also something coming in September as well. So, it'll be kind of an exciting flow of activities, and so I think looking forward to that and knowing that's coming up is really helping me move past that emo FOMO.
True. Speculating, a long time waiting to.
Quick Wednesday update, or I don't know, I say quick, we'll see what actually happens. But yeah, I've been plugging away. Today was the day I thought I was gonna get my copy edits back, and I probably still will, but I think they're gonna come later in the afternoon, so I think I'm actually not going to start working on them until tomorrow, if I do get them today, just because my will to work tends to dwindle the longer the day goes on, and I've already like relaxed into chill mode, and so I don't see myself like being able to hop into copy edits today, which is fine because if I get it today, I'll still have 2 weeks and a bit to get everything done. So I'm not too concerned about that. I'm continuing on with writing my chapters for Bear Hunt, and that drafting is continuing to go well. And I got to announce one of the secrets I've been keeping, which is that Blood Like Magic and Blood Like Fate, the Blood Like duology, is going to have a box set. So there's going to be a special exclusive hardcover box set that is going to be available starting, I want to say September. I can't remember if it's the 12th or the 16th, but I'll have the links below if you want to look into more details. I've got like a page with all the links for if you want to pre-order the box set. So it's essentially coming out like roughly a month after Blood Like Fate comes out on August 9th. So that, of course, it can be included in the box set. But it was a really funny story. So I was redoing my media kit. For my website. I have my whole media kit with all the information about my books and stuff. And so I had to go to the Indigo website I was trying to like find an ISBN or something like that. And so I had to go to the Indigo site. So then I looked up my own book. And then when I looked it up there, I noticed that there was this third listing under Blood Like Magic and Blood Like Fate. And it said like, it was like blood-like duology, and I was like, that's interesting. And so I clicked it and I read the description and it said hardcover box set. And I was like, because I hadn't heard anything about this at this point. And I was like, that's interesting. I was like, I wonder if that's like a real thing. Like, I was like, there's a listing for it. But nobody had said anything to me yet. So then, at the time, my wonderful agent had like literally just had a baby. And so I didn't want to bother her on maternity leave just to be like, am I getting a box set? And so I waited until after she had come back from leave. And then I was kind of like, hey, I saw this. Is this like a thing that's happening? And then my editor confirmed it and we were like, yes, we're doing a box set, which is really exciting because like this isn't a thing that like authors just get automatically. It's actually like not a super frequent thing. And so it was really exciting for me that my publisher wanted to put this together and wanted to do this. It made me feel like they like, you know, they believe in me. They believe in my book. Which of course they already did because they bought it. But it was really exciting to know that the book is going to have a box set. I'm really excited about it. I like can't wait to get one, which I assume they will send me one. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. And so it's cool too because like the Blood Like Magic, the paperback is going to be coming out in July of this year. And so the paperback will come out in July. And then eventually I assume those hardcovers, something will happen to them. I don't really understand what happens when paperbacks come out, but like, you know, the hardbacks like dwindle away and then you start only seeing paperbacks. So in this case, if you're a person that like finds out about the series after the fact and you're like, oh my gosh, I really wish I had had a hardback, you can just get the box set and then you'll get the matching hardbacks. So very, very excited about that and getting to announce that. And now one less secret that I have to keep. I still have some. I think we're all wrapped up for Blood Like Magic secrets. I think those are done. There are just other ones floating around. So yeah, that was kind of how my Tuesday went. And I'll check in with you on Friday when I would have potentially, hopefully, have started my copy edits for Butcherbird.
Get right back from you. Conversations in my head got me conflicted with what you said. I tend to second guess myself, like too much, 'cause I think that I've been...
Hello, it is Friday. It doesn't feel like Friday, weirdly to me. It feels like it's like the middle of the week, but it is in fact Friday. And today I have been working on both projects. So I've been continuing my drafting for Bear Hunt, which is going well. I've been making little tweak changes of like things I have planned just to try and get more action into the story, because you know my vision for this story was that it was going to be really like kind of like action-packed and fast-paced, and I'm finding that not as many exciting things are happening. And I think that makes sense because I took out a lot of deaths, and so now those were all the things that were injecting that. So I'm making some tweaks like just in the plotting sections as I go along, like you know, there was a section where like, you know, a murder happened during that time, but we didn't find out about it. Like the body wasn't found until after. So then that kind of injection of, oh my God, what's happening? It is somebody being murdered. That didn't come into the chapter. And now I've changed it so that happens during the chapter. And so it's a little bit more, it pumps up the action. It's a little bit more dangerous for the main character and things like that. And that's kind of what I'm trying to get into this section a bit more and to keep with that. I think all the character dynamics in this draft I'm getting quite well. Like I do feel like I'm doing a good job getting the characters together. And there's two sets of characters. They're a brother and sister. They are the main characters, brother and sister, but they in particular are very close to one another. And when I was plotting things. I kind of felt like they were blending too much into one character, or like the sister wasn't standing out enough. And so while I've been drafting, I've been changing her character so that she's has a sort of conflicting opinion from her brother, and that's been helping set them apart. So I've been really happy about that. I think the only thing I'm struggling with in this draft is just making sure that things are kind of consistently fast paced. But I think that's something I can definitely get better with later. And for Butcherbirds, working on my copy edits. So I realized that I only need 10 days to finish my copy edits, but next week is the Easter long weekend. And originally I was gonna work for that Friday and Monday, even though they're technically weekend days, but I decided actually that I want to take them off. I want to have the Easter holiday too. And so I decided to essentially work Thursday and Friday on my copy edits, and so that way I make up the Monday and the Friday. And so in a couple of weeks I'll still be done at the same time I expect it to be done, because I kind of took these extra days, and so then I'll be fine to have the days off. Yeah, you know what, I'm usually pretty much at home, so like it might not matter for me to take them off, but I just feel like, you know, if my boyfriend is like sleeping in, like I'm gonna want to sleep in, and then I can use that time to like catch up on my reading. I have a bunch of books that I've gotten. My like actual physical TBR shelf has become so much larger than it was, and I kind of want to be able to just like do that and chill out and enjoy the long weekend. And so I've made that happen for myself. That's the thing about being self-employed is that I can make that happen for myself. I just kind of had to shift around my schedule, but it's working out. Copy edits are going really well, actually. It's so funny because I used to hate copy edits so much. But in the case of this book, I don't know if it's just like, I'm only 100 pages in and it's a 500-page book, so maybe it'll get worse. But I'm going into it and I'm like, this is so pleasant. I'm like, you know, my copy editor is suggesting certain like changes for words, and I'm like, you know what, that's really good, and I love that. And yeah, and I just feel like I'm feeling so positive about the copy edit. And I just feel like this is the difference between getting copy edits for a very strictly fantasy book with a future setting and a lot of magic rules and things like that, and like dates that are a little bit more complicated, and doing copy edits for a book that's like quite a bit more cerebral, and there is a sort of complicated system type thing when it comes to how the haunted house works in this book, but I haven't gotten to that piece yet, so I haven't had to do those copy edits. They just been so pleasant. I'm really pleased about it. But I do think Butcherbirds has been a different experience overall. It's just sort of a different type of book. But I'm just having such a pleasant time, and I'm really enjoying the book, and I'm really proud of this book. And I feel like it's a very strong, creepy, slow burn, is how I really think about this book. Like, it's from the beginning, you're like, things are like kind of weird, and like, what is going on exactly? And it just kind of builds from there, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm really happy about it. So yeah, that's basically my update there.
Falling ever since that day out in the park, and I don't know if this is love, but maybe this could be the start. Wondering if you'll feel the same. Wondering if my heart's okay. I don't know if this is love or just a phase.
Just delaying and replaying that look upon your face. Your laugh is contagious, never ages, always seems to make my day. Conversation.
So today I made a discovery. Yeah, I made a discovery. I was going through Scrivener and I'm getting close to the midpoint. And the midpoint is the 21st chapter. And so I looked at it and I was like, because I was at around 35,000 words, and I was like, but half of 75,000 is 37,500. And I was like, but I'm going to hit that today, and then I still have 3 chapters left before I get to the midpoint. So then I checked on Plotter for how many chapters this book has, and it has 40 chapters. And I paused and I was like, 40 chapters at 2,000 words each is 80,000, not 75,000. So I realized that when I originally planned this out, it was supposed to be 75,000 words, but then I added the second point of view. And when I added the second point of view, I added like 6 chapters. And so that meant that the word count increased. So I had to change my goal today from 75,000 to 80,000, which resultingly increased my word count. And resultingly from that, I am no longer taking days off for the Easter weekend. I will be working on the Friday and the Monday, which I'm not really like devastated about or anything. Like, I'll just wake up early and like do my drafting. And I can still take the days off for the copy editing. I did calculate that correctly, so I won't have to do copy editing on Monday and Friday, though honestly copy editing is easier than drafting. But anyway, so I won't have to do that, but I will have to draft. So that was my own foible, but that's just kind of the way it is, and I'll fix it later on when I do all of my editing and stuff. But yeah, that was a moment for me today where I was like, that doesn't seem correct, and it was not correct. So it's gonna be a little bit bigger than I thought because I had added in those chapters. But again, I'm not too concerned about it. I do feel confident that I will manage to stick as closely to this word count as possible. And even just sticking to around 80,000 will still be like really good and like polished for me. And so I think probably what will happen when I'm revising is that in chapters that are longer, I'll probably end up making note of what can be cut in it. But I think probably what will happen is I'll probably revise and I'll do one whole revision of just me putting in everything that needs to be put in and finessing things. And then I'll probably have to do like a second quick like go through just to cut down stuff and to just be like, do I need this, and cut it out just to make sure I'm sticking around that word count, because I know that once the book gets to my editor there's probably going to be a bunch of edits that are going to add a ton of words. And so I'm really planning for this. You know, I'm doing my edits at like 80,000, but I'm really expecting that once I do edits with my editor, it'll probably end up being 100,000, which I'm okay with. It's not bad at all. But ideally, I'd love it if it was like 90,000. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, still feeling good about it. This chapter was a lot more exciting. There was some exciting stuff that happened in it. And by that I mean, you know, murder stuff, essentially. And yeah, I think it's interesting to be getting closer to the midpoint, because I think, you know, from the midpoint on, like, it really, really ramps up. And so I think all that experience I've been having in the first half, because I had to cut out some things where the pacing has been slower than I wanted to, I think I won't really have that problem with the pacing in the second half, because I know there's a lot going on in the second half. And so that'll also be a task for me when revising, is to make sure that the first half is in pacing more matching the second half, because the thing about when people read books is that they read them chronologically, and so if your first half is like super slow and boring, they're probably not even gonna get to the second half. So, but anyway, that's my update for today. And I will be updating Monday, Wednesday, well, today's Monday, Wednesday and Friday, because I'm now doing the full week as was originally planned due to my foible.
Daydreaming got me thinking that this can all be be true. Speculating a long time waiting to hear a word back from you. Conversations in my head got me conflicted with what you said. I tend to second guess myself, like too much. 'Cause I think that I've been falling ever since that day out in the park. And I don't know if this is love, but maybe this could be the start. Wondering if you feel the same. Wondering if my heart's okay. I don't know if this is love or just a phase.
Just delaying and replaying that look upon your face. Your laugh is contagious, never ages. Oh.
Hello. I'm doing a very long and involved process with my hair, so it cannot be seen in its full form right now, hence the cloak and dagger hoodie that I have on. I should set this down. I just know already that I can't hold this the whole time. Hold on. Okay, that's better. I was like, I can't. I was like, why did I think I would just like hold this camera the whole time, knowing that I talk forever each time? But anyway, it's Wednesday. Yesterday and today I did writing sprints with a friend. So that's how I got my drafting done yesterday. And also today I do still have to do copy edits. But I figured I would take a break for a little bit because I was kind of feeling tired. Yeah, I don't know. Today it's snowing. It's April. It's snowing and I feel like it's ruined my mood. Like I was gonna like today I was like, yeah, I'm gonna like do one of my dance fitness things and like usually in the mornings now like I set my desk to standing and I stand for at least like, you know, like an hour and a half or something. And today I was just like feeling none of it. So I'm sitting and I'm gonna sit. And I'm probably not gonna do dance workout things because I don't really feel like it. And it's something I enjoy, so I want to like feel happy and enjoy it. So yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. I keep looking at the snow because they are giant snowflakes and I'm just kind of like, why? It makes me sad. But anyway, today I had a bit of a timeline issue, though I think I've fixed it. But essentially what I noticed is that I had this whole thing set up where one character kind of leaves a clue about the character who's being accused of murder. But then I had to change around some of the timeline things because I learned some things about like laws in Canada and things like that. And anyway, and so then the person accused of murder ended up being charged after that other character had died, which is the mom character, after she had died. So then I was like, then she can't leave a clue about what happened with that murder because she would have died before he was charged for it. So I had to do a lot of like fixing on the fly. And I was like, my timeline, like I could feel my timeline crumbling to dust. And it was very stressful, but I was just kind of like, you know what? I fixed it in here. I'll fix it going forward. I do make like quite meticulous calendars when I write now. For one, it's really useful in copy edits. And, you know, keeping everything in line. And for two, it like helps me keep track of everything and make sure that I know what's going on with my dates and time periods. And so they all make sense. So that was kind of something that I had noticed, but I think I fixed it. We're getting very close to the midpoint now. We've actually, in terms of words, we've hit halfway. I'm still not at the midpoint, but the midpoint of the story is slightly after it's supposed to be. So the midpoint is chapter 21 of 40 instead of 20 of 40. So it makes sense to me that it's a little bit down the line. But I know it's because I've overwritten some stuff, but that's okay. I'll fix that later. But it's getting a lot more action packed. Like these last 2 chapters have been like a lot more action packed, and it's really getting the feel of that fast paced movement that I wanted it to have from the beginning. So it makes me feel good about the story. And also my friend who I was doing writing sprints with, I was talking about like my vision for the story and like the themes and like what I'm trying to get across with the story. And she really got it and understood it, which made me feel really good about like the themes and stuff I have going on. So really pleased about that. And then I'll get back into copy edits. Book 3 is like copy edit wise going quite well. I'm very happy with it. I'm really enjoying it. And I think I spent a lot of time being so concerned about, oh my God, it's so long. I like even made a TikTok being like, why are you so long? But I've really like in reading it, I've been like, no, like this, I always knew it was right for it to be that long, like everything is necessary, but I really came to peace with it in terms of like worrying about it being long for readers. Because it is like a slow burn. It's a psychological suspense sort of horror. And to me, it works really well. And I read that book, Plain Bad Heroines, which I absolutely loved. It's a very long book and it's very slow burn, but I absolutely loved it. I thought it was so good. Like I was so riveted. And there are a lot of people that love that book. I'm pretty sure that book is a New York Times bestseller. Like there are a lot of people that love that book. And so I'm just like, there's an audience for that. And I think that's the thing about any book, like there's an audience for that book. And so like that's really my feeling about this. I'm like, people that love that slow burn are gonna really, I think, enjoy this. Hope they'll enjoy it. But I think it really appeals to that really character driven, deep character study sort of in-depth book. And I hope that'll appeal to people. But I also think it's got a lot of great, like, it's got its own great like punchy action scenes and things like that. So yeah, I'm feeling really good about it. And I'm really enjoying it still, which I think is important because usually I'm so sick of reading my books by this point, but I've had enough space between line edits that I've really been like enjoying it and like loving it and having a really good time with it. So yeah, positive things. And here we are at the end of the vlog. And did I work today? No. So here's what happened. I woke up late. It was like 10 o'clock. We have a family member visiting us who was already up and awake, and my boyfriend was just waking up, and we were deciding what we were going to do for the day. And I was like, well, I guess I have to like write for 2 hours. And I was like, no. I was like, I don't want to. And I calculated, and yes, this does mean that I'll probably be writing 2,400 words a day for the rest of this drafting period on top of doing my copy edits. And I just kind of don't care. So that's what I'm going to do. And also like on Thursday, I actually ended up writing 3,000 words. Plus I did my copy edits and I still like finished with time to do other stuff. So I ended up way writing over. And it was fine and it was comfortable. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be good. I'm going to be good with it. So I have decided to take the whole Easter weekend off anyway. And so I won't be working today or Monday. And so the next vlog will start on Tuesday. But yeah, I just decided to do that instead because honestly, it was just kind of like, I wasn't feeling it. And I wanted to take a long break. And so here we are. But yeah, so that's the end of the vlog. Thank you for following along with me on this journey. Things are going pretty well. I think like if I had to wrap it up with a what are the final thoughts, at the copy edit stage, things are going quite well. I have looked up a couple things that I need to go back and change, but I feel like I really am just like polishing this to as shiny as humanly possible. I really think that when past pages come, I'll be like actually just like checking for little grammar mistakes. I won't be doing, you know, inserting of lines and things like that I've done in the past with my past pages, because I think these copy edits are going to come out really, really clean, and I'm feeling really excited about that book and about getting to share that book. As I've been doing copy edits, there have been lines and stuff where I've been like, ooh, I kind of want to share this, but I was like, we're too far out from publication, Liselle. Save your quote sharing for when we're closer. And in terms of Bear Hunt, I think things are going quite well. Things are really ramping up. Like I said, I do see a lot of areas for improvement and a lot of logistic stuff that I need to fix. But I think considering all the prep work I did for this beforehand, I do think I have a really solid base to work with. And I do still think it's a really good story, and I'm still like feeling positive about it. And I just think that I need more time to get it to the point where my third book is at, essentially. And that makes sense to me because Butcherverse has gone through so many edits at this point, and Bear Hunt is just beginning. So that's been good. And yeah, I'm really pleased about that. Pleased about the work I've done this week, and that's kind of it. If you are participating in Camp NaNoWriMo, please comment and let me know how your camp is going, how your progress is happening, and like if everything's working out well for you. And if you're not doing camp, but you're still writing and that sort of thing, like share what you're working on. I would love to hear that. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And I will see you in another couple weeks for the next vlog. And even though I'm calling these are technically Camp NaNoWriMo vlogs, you'll notice I'm not doing them every week like I did before. I'm trying a new approach to NaNoWriMo this year, in which I just kind of do my vlogs like I did them regularly instead of doing weekly vlogs, and kind of see how that goes and like continue on with my other content. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Bye!
Touch the moon.
Know that when I'm with you, there's nothing